let's take a look now at one of the most important self-defense fight finishers that you're going to learn is what's commonly known as the guillotine choke, or I was learning it years before the first UFC where that term was coined. I called it a noose choke, and I've been using that term ever since. This is one of your easiest yet most effective submissions and allows you to deal with a guy and render him unconscious standing up. This is really important in real world self-defense like we talked about for various reasons. You might be on a hard surface, you might have to deal with cramped quarters or multiple opponents. So we talked a little bit about the noose choke in the headlock section, but I want to go into detail now. And once again, this is one of your highest priority chokes to learn. I'm going to show you some variations. Let's go back to the scenario we were just talking about. The person is hit me with their finger, and I'm doing the snatch the pebble from my hand grasshopper idea. Again, one of the ways you can use finger locks is cause enough pain that he either drops to one knee or he bends over a little bit, come up about halfway. This sets up the choke. This is a way to go from low level force to much higher. Now, whether I get it from the finger lock or later when we talk about being in the clinch and I hit him in the groin, whatever gets his head lower than my shoulder level. That's your first rule of applying a noose choke. His head has got to be at least below your shoulder level. If it's any higher, you see how this extends my arm, and if someone was to do that to me to try and pull my head down, like this with a noose choke, try and pull my head down without me being bent over, you can see how problematic it is. The guy can go behind you. We just want to touch on that because some people often ask me, well, why is it important? At this point, when his head is down, he's physically weaker. He's beginning to get that 90-degree bend, and it's safer for me to get my arm over. My elbows are still relatively close to my body. That's important to do this safely. We don't get excited and try to reach for a guy before we bend him over. All right? So whichever technique we use, it might happen from a strike, it might happen because he's charging us, whatever. Noose choke is really simple. But the first thing you want to do once you get him here is to grab his chin. This gives you time to think. He can't pull his head back out. Pull your head out. This is why we grab the chin, and I can put my weight on him this way. This is why you want to grab the chin. From here, we can go into the choke. Basically, there's two different versions. I demonstrated the outside version in the headlock section where his head is on the side of my body. All right, one of the simplest grips to use is this hooked grip. I just hook my fingers like this, turn my thumb side up, and squeeze everything in tight, like I'm trying to point my thumb this way across his neck and point my elbow at the ground. Then I use my hips, and that's what chokes him out. From the time he taps, it might take another 3 or 4 seconds before he actually goes unconscious. Remember, the time that your brain gets excited that it thinks it's going to go unconscious, because it is, and to your brain that means it's going to die, it's set very conservatively. It may take another 2, 3, 4, even 5 seconds before he actually goes unconscious. Be prepared for that. Now, in this situation, the good thing about choking a person standing is you'll know right away. He'll go limp and you'll feel his weight sagging on your arms. It won't be difficult to tell. Unlike some of the ground chokes, at least in sparring conditions, sometimes the guy's a high-level jiu-jitsu guy, he'll be relaxed, you might not actually know. In a street fight, usually they're amped up 1,001%, and you're gonna feel them relaxed completely. That means he's going under. So let's look at that again. The first thing is using whatever. He's poking my chest. I use one of these to get his head down, boom. I put one hand behind his head, and I try to guide it under my arm, and I grab his chin. This gives me the chance to make sure I've got him where I want him, and when he tries to pull out, I can use my weight in one hand to hold him, basically. You want to stay here all day because he can start using his hands to peel it off, but what I'm saying is this is a good intermediate step. Now, if you want to do the choke we already covered, you want to shove your hand through as deep as you can. This is important. My bicep is against his neck on this side. There's no space in there. There's different grips, but we talked about this one in the headlock section. This is one of your simplest and most effective. It allows me to keep my elbows tight while lifting up. And you see how to stretch them, I use my hips. Okay, that's the same one as we saw before in the headlock section, and you can use this anytime you get his head down in a bent manner like this. It's really simple, really high percentage. I can't reiterate this enough. Even in the era of modern professional mixed martial arts fighters, Professionals who are training 6, 8, 10 hours a day still get each other in these kinds of chokes all the time. They're very effective, and these are people who know all the defenses. So imagine how well they're going to work on the street against someone who has no clue what you're doing and only has strength and aggression to try and defuse that.